All right, we finally made it to the number one passing play of 2024, and I think to no surprise, it is Tylan Wallace's 84-yard catch and run touchdown against Cincinnati in the second matchup. This happened in the fourth quarter with the Ravens trailing by 7, facing 3rd and 2. And this might be my favorite play on the entire playlist so far, and maybe my favorite play of the season. And it's not because it ended up being a momentum shaping, just a huge, huge, massive play for the Ravens. It's an example of how a really simple play with quality execution can lead to big results. And it's such a good teaching tape play for people who I think get a little bit too far in depth on terms of scheme and where to look and all these types of things. Sometimes just being able to execute a play very, very well is enough. It's not more complicated than that. And I think sometimes we get overly into the diagrams and the scheme and things like that, and we don't focus always on repetitions of a play, how sharp the execution of just a standard regular play can really change the results from a mildly successful play to a massive one. And this play is a great example of just really clean execution of basics, and that's something which really drew me to this play. So, on this play, the Ravens are going to be facing once again a 3rd and 2. We're going to hit Tylan Wallace on a quick out route. Tylan's going to get up the sideline and score a fantastic touchdown. I mean, you can see the fans going absolutely ballistic. This is a great, great. I'm happy we have one of these to go through. This is a really great moment here. I remember watching this live. It was breathtaking. Getting into the breakdown. So Tylan Wallace is lined up here on the outside. And you can see that 29 is giving him a sizable cushion for a 3rd and 2. The Ravens notice this. Lamar notices it. And that's his first read. Boom, the ball's out. I mean, maybe he's looking at Mark first or he's deciding, but I mean, just based on the timing of how this football comes out, it looks pretty clear he saw the off coverage and was immediately going to Tylan, which is a very solid pre-snap read. This is something which I think Lamar doesn't get enough credit for. I know it's simple, but once again, we're talking about simple execution on this play. Now, what I want you to focus on is how fast Tylan ducks up the sideline. This is when I was playing quarterback, I had some receivers who dilly-dallied or tried to make moves, and I always told them just get up the sideline. That's the key. And look at how fast that ball transfers cleanly in the catch, and Wallace is now off to the races. Now, what's funny is people criticize 22. 22 is in a bit of a tough spot here. Tylan, if he beats him inside, can go to the house this way, or he can go all the way down the sidelines. So 22 kind of hesitates a little bit, and he thinks he can gauge it and push him out of bounds, but Tylan just hit the afterburners, hit a little bit of a burst, and had just enough to slide past him and go to the end zone. I think that safety was in a really compromising spot. There was just nobody else who could have made this tackle. I'm not giving him an excuse. I'm just saying that he was really facing, a guy who has punt return level, kick return level, ability. I'm not saying Wallace is, Dante Hall, but he's somebody who has some decent change of direction skills, decent burst, and it's a pretty compromising angle for this safety. It just all develops so fast, and it allows Wallace to just have enough to get up the sideline and stay in bounds by about, a quarter of an inch. I want to point out one very important technique here. I talked about, Lamar seeing it right away. The ball comes out on time. The ball's thrown accurately. Pretty accurately. Maybe some people would say it should be thrown a little more outside, but it's thrown pretty accurately here. Definitely a nice throw. But what I really like about Wallace is him understanding the tackling angles. Right now, his entire back is a target for this defender who's coming downhill. Okay, his entire back is a target. By rapidly changing his direction on the catch, he goes from being a full side target to being a vertical target. Okay? So before he could have hit his entire back. Now he has to hit just this piece of his shoulder. He has just the backside to grab onto. And he's able to slip away. understanding these tackling angles, having your fullback exposed and your front leg here, your side leg, as a massive target, to the pivot, which creates a smaller target. For those of you, familiar with sword fighting, this is kind of why you stand sideways as opposed to standing forward. You stand sideways because you present a narrower target to your opposition. And Wallace understood that, made a nice turn, and then was able to break a tackle here, and then has the stamina and athleticism to finish off this run to the end zone. I mean, I've talked about Tylan Wallace a bunch. He's going to come up again in some of our top 5 rushing plays as well. I've spoken about him maybe becoming the Ravens' Troy Brown, somebody they can deploy in a myriad of different ways. Offense, I think even he should be tried out a little bit at corner as an emergency corner. He's got the tackling skills to do it. He's played some played some special teams. He's somebody who I really think is a great utility guy for this team, and I'm excited to see what the Ravens do with him this year. And this play is just he's had a few of these already in Baltimore. I think he had a punt return, game-winning punt return against the Rams as well. So this guy is no stranger to the big moment. And this is a great example of him just making a simple catch, simple run, clean execution, ball thrown on time with a good pre-snap read. This is like the opposite of like a plane crash documentary. The plane crash documentary, it's 6 different little things that went wrong that resulted in something catastrophic. This is like the good reversal of that, where it's just, you notice the off coverage, ball's thrown on time, receiver catches it, fundamentally sound, makes a quick turn because he caught it cleanly, makes a nice quick turn, presents a smaller target, slides away from the first man, starts to see the sideline. He has a glint of the end zone. He's thinking, okay, I can break this. Breaks the first guy. Then, okay, he could get pushed out here. Nope, pulls it off again. It's just, you have to have a certain mentality to be able to hit these types of plays. It doesn't happen from everybody, and not every receiver or player has it in them. There are players that are better than Tylan Wallace who don't always see and seize the moment in the way that he did here. And he deserves all the recognition for this unbelievable highlight and giving Ravens fans this moment. So hope you guys enjoyed this play. I think it's a nice little departure from the deeper X's and O's and like the slice route and some of the other stuff that we get into on this channel. So really happy that this one was just a really nice, simple execution. So hope you guys enjoyed this top 5 series. Looking forward to getting you guys more top 5s and more video as the season goes on. Thanks again for watching, and have a great day.